Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Monday, April 26, 2021. CNN report. Russia suspends Alexey Navalny's political movement across the country. Moscow's chief prosecutor froze the political movement of jailed Kremlin critic Alexey Navalny on Monday by suspending activities at his offices across the country, while petitioning a court to do the same for the anti-corruption foundation that he founded. The decision comes against the backdrop of a pending court decision on whether to designate both Navalny's political and anti-corruption organizations as extremist groups.
Fox report. George W. Bush weighs in on the immigration debate through art on Fox Nation. In the time since he has left the White House, former President George W. Bush has refrained from wading into political and policy debates. But his most recent collection of paintings, out of many, Portraits of America's Immigrants, and the accompanying book does just that in a very unique way. Immigration was one of the most contentious issues Bush faced during his presidency, and the debate still rages today.
CNN report. A Beginner's Guide to Crypto Lingo. Investing in cryptocurrencies requires an appetite for risk and a whole new vocabulary. Here's a beginner's guide to the fundamentals of crypto lingo. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency created in 2009 by an unknown person, or people, using the alias Satoshi Nakamoto. Unlike traditional currencies such as the US dollar, Bitcoin isn't controlled by a bank or government. Bitcoin is by far the most valuable and popular cryptocurrency in use today.
Fox report. Chernobyl 35 years later. Today marks 35 years since the devastating accident at reactor number 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and solemn ceremonies were held at several locations in Ukraine to commemorate those lost. The world's worst nuclear power disaster only killed dozens immediately. The number most often cited is 31, a number that has always seemed surprisingly low given the sheer scale of the event, but thousands died over the long term from radiation-linked illnesses such as cancer.
Deutsche Welle report. Zlatan Ibrahimovic faces UEFA probe over gambling links. AC Milan star Zlatan Ibrahimovic is currently under investigation by European football officials over his alleged financial interest in a betting company in Malta, UEFA said on Monday. The body has appointed an ethics and disciplinary inspector to look into the issue, they added. The former Manchester United, Barcelona and LA Galaxy forward has not publicly commented on the allegations. UEFA rules forbid players from holding any financial interests in the gambling industry.
Al Jazeera report. Ontario requests help from Canadian military amid COVID crisis. The Canadian province of Ontario has requested help from the country's military in responding to a surge in coronavirus hospitalizations, which has pushed the healthcare network to its limits in recent weeks. Canadian media reported on Monday that Ontario Solicitor General Sylvia Jones's office made a request for assistance from the Canadian Armed Forces and the Canadian Red Cross to cope with critical care COVID-19 patients.
Al Jazeera report. Nigeria. Kidnappers kill 2 more captive students. 2 more students were killed after being kidnapped with others last week by gunmen in northwest Nigeria, local authorities said Monday, bringing the death toll from the attack to 6. The killings in Kaduna State by criminals known locally as bandits mark an escalation in the mass kidnappings of students that plague northwest and central Nigeria. Security agencies have just reported to the Kaduna State government the recovery of 2 more dead bodies of Greenfield University students killed by armed bandits, State Commissioner Samuel Aruwan said Monday.
Al Jazeera report. Turkey announces full lockdown in bid to halt COVID surge. Turks will be required to stay mostly at home under a nationwide full lockdown, starting on Thursday and lasting until May 17 to curb a surge in coronavirus infections and deaths. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has announced. Turkey logged 37,312 new COVID-19 infections and 353 deaths in the previous 24 hours on Monday. Health Ministry data showed, sharply down from mid-April but still the world's 4th highest number of cases.
Deutsche Welle report. Somalia. Mogadishu tense as armed opposition fighters take up positions. Heavily armed Somali opposition fighters continue to hold positions in parts of the capital, Mogadishu, a day after clashes with government troops erupted following President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed's extending of his mandate. though reports have not indicated ongoing fighting. The situation remains tense. In Mogadishu, DW's Mohammed Adouat reports that renewed clashes appear imminent anytime unless parties involved have peaceful talks on the election impasse.
BBC report: Black Axe Mafia. Italian police arrest 30 Nigerian suspected gang members. Police say they face about 100 charges including drug and people trafficking, prostitution and internet fraud. The gang allegedly used the Bitcoin cryptocurrency to carry out clandestine financial transactions on the dark web. Black Axe emerged from Nigeria in the 1970s, where they carried out rape, mutilation, and ritual murders. They went on to build a powerful international network. There is evidence that the members had a direct connection with the Nigerian gang, drawing on the same vocabulary, symbols and affiliation rituals, Italian police said.
CNN report: Iran hands British-Iranian aid worker Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe another jail sentence. An Iranian court has handed British-Iranian charity worker Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe a new one-year jail sentence and travel ban on charges of spreading propaganda against the regime, her husband said on Monday. Zaghari-Ratcliffe was detained at a Tehran airport in April 2016 and accused of working with organizations allegedly attempting to overthrow the Iranian regime. She and her employer, the Thomson Reuters Foundation, repeatedly denied the charges against her, but she was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in jail.
CNN report: Justices skeptical of California nonprofit disclosure law. Several U.S. Supreme Court justices seemed skeptical Monday of a California law that requires charitable organizations that solicit donations to disclose a list of their contributors to the state attorney general. The challenge is brought by conservative nonprofits American for Prosperity Foundation, a Koch-affiliated group, and the Thomas More Law Center, who want to keep the identity of their donors secret and argue that the state has not shown a compelling reason for the law.
Fox report: SOS messages, panic as virus breaks India's health system. New Delhi, AP, Drive. Gautam Singh dreads the daily advent of the ventilator beeps, signaling that oxygen levels are critically low, and hearing his critically ill patients start gasping for air in the New Delhi emergency ward where he works. Like other doctors across the country, which on Monday set another record for new coronavirus infections for a 5th day in a row at more than 350,000. The cardiologist has taken to begging and borrowing cylinders of oxygen just to keep his most critical patients alive for one more day.
Deutsche Welle report: Germany, France praise European solidarity against COVID. Financial solidarity in the face of the coronavirus pandemic is just an essential, said Germany's President Frank-Walter Steinmeier and his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, on Monday. Their meeting at the Élysée Palace in Paris came 2 days after Steinmeier signed off on a European recovery fund of €750 billion, $906 billion. Macron praised Germany's move towards the historic multi-billion recovery package.
Fox report: Andrew Brown Jr. Search warrant. Drug deals captured on camera weeks before fatal police shooting. Andrew Brown Jr., a black man fatally shot as sheriff's deputies executed a warrant in Elizabeth City, NC. On April 21 was described as a drug dealer in the Pasquotank County area and had a criminal rap sheet over 180 pages long and dating back to May 1988, according to a copy of the search warrant and other records obtained by Fox News. Brown's family and their attorneys entered the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office Monday afternoon to be privately shown the body camera footage of the shooting, following a 2-hour delay that Pasquotank County Attorney R.
BBC report: Breonna Taylor, inquiry launched into Louisville Police Department. It is the second such inquiry announced in a week. The Minneapolis Police Department is also being investigated over George Floyd's death in Minnesota. Both cases fueled protests against racism and police brutality. Louisville City and police leaders said they welcomed the investigation. Police Chief Erica Shields called it a huge opportunity to get us on the path forward, while Mayor Greg Fisher said they stood ready to assist in any way they can.
BBC report: AstraZeneca, U.S. to share more supplies of vaccine. The doses will be able to be exported in the coming months after a federal safety review, AP news agency reports. Although the AstraZeneca jab is widely used around the world, The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has not yet authorized it. The U.S. has been under mounting pressure to share its vaccine supply. The U.S. has a stockpile of the vaccine, even though the FDA has not yet approved it. On Monday, the White House said it expected that about 10 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine could be released when the FDA finishes its review in the coming weeks.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.